1,000 feet. Use the right 2 lanes to keep right.
All right. Hey, friends, it's Tuesday, August 17, 2021. I hope you're ready to prepare to go there, because today is the best day, really the only day that we have to prepare to go there. My name is Peter. It's been so much fun going on this extended coaching journey with you as we put in the work every day, learning how to do that necessary preparation. You know, all that stuff that goes unnoticed until later when you need it. That's what today is for. And so I'm thankful to go another round with you. We got a super important conversation to have. We're going to get into it in just a little bit. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on and what you stumbled into. If you're watching, go ahead and say hi in the chat. I'll give you another call to action to do that in a little bit. But welcome to the Future Frontier, where we are learning how to focus practically on the future and then figure out how to tactically prepare to go there every single day. And that requires you to lead yourself. You're not going to be, forced into the future. And you really can't fake that you're ready when you're called upon. We want to do what we can today, so that way when we show up ready. And we talk a lot about self-leadership here, and it's because I've realized most people don't know how to lead others into a better future, because they really don't know how to lead themselves there first. And that's where it starts. It starts with self-leadership, then servant leadership, and then generational leadership. And I'm convinced that generational leadership is the reward of doing those other two things right. And so I'm here to call friends and leaders alike to keep learning, to keep leading themselves, and to make every day count. And so that's why we created this extended coaching journey live stream of sorts called Prepare to Go There. It's helping you identify where you're going and then get the mindset and the skill sets to actually go for it. And so this is a call to action for you. I do it every day because I need this conversation, and I want to keep you company while you are going through that unnoticed yet necessary preparation phase. And it can be, you kind of lose track of time. You can lose track of your values if you're not aware. And the things we talk about, whether it's, when we're on vacation or when we're setting New Year's resolutions, all that stuff is so big and important, and it's right in our face, and it feels so real, and we're super motivated to go for it. But then over time, just the weekly grind kicks in, and all those things we talked about, dreamed about, prayed about, they drift to the back burner. And so we've got to have a conversation that can take that future, put it back on the front burner where it belongs. So how do you focus on the future practically? And then how do you lead yourself there tactically day by day? That's what this is all about. If that resonates with you, I want to give you a very clear and open invitation to join the Future Friends. It's the email community around here. And I realize that there are many, many friends and leaders that are on this journey, and they just don't know it because they haven't met anybody else, because a lot of this is happening in their personal time or their private life, so to speak. So what would it be like if we could rally together a bunch of emerging leaders that are all going in the same direction, and then they feel the force multiplication of friendship and partnership on their journey? And so that's what this is aiming to do. Future Friends get emails from me in weekly kind of like content drops. I call them roundups. So I pull together all of the content, the blog, and the different live streams that we're doing, and email it to you all at once. And then you'll also get the communication that'll keep you up to speed with what I'm enjoying or what I'm working on. And then I'm working on a few projects with you in mind. And so you'll get the info and incentives for those as well. It would really help me if you can invite someone that you know would benefit from this conversation, a coaching journey to help people prepare to go there. And I want to give you a free gift right on the outset here. It is a fail-proof planning guide. A lot of people don't know how to get going. And if they do, they kind of feel inadequate, or they feel kind of clunky with their planning approach. And then they just say, I'm not a planner. And I don't want you to say that, because planning is not a personality. It's a life skill. So you got to figure it out at one point or another. And you are planning. It just may not be intentional. And so what I'm here bringing you is a proven step-by-step process that's going to help you look out at what's on the horizon of your calendar, and whether you actually drop it into, a calendar app or not, you need a planning process that'll help you look out and think less fragile, think more agile, so that way you can adapt and navigate the unknown as you go. I think a lot of people, they really do know what they want to go for. It's just that they don't know how to improvise when that quote perfect plan falls through. You got to get a little scrappy, and you got to have that go for it attitude. And so that's what this is going to do. It's going to give you that high level goal setting, and then it'll get worked down into rhythms and routines that you can put into your day-to-day practice. So if you are watching, I would love for you to say, hey, let me know where you're watching from, and let me know you're excited about Prepare to Go There. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in as well, and I'll put it in the list of questions that's going out on Friday. Future Friday is dedicated to whatever you're thinking about and working on. So today I want to get into a really important conversation: lifestyle leadership. Now, yesterday we talked about what it is not. And I told you something very seemingly counterintuitive, which is that leadership is not a title. Leadership is not a badge we wear. It's not something that fits into an org chart. But leadership is actually much more personal, relational, and then out of that, influential. And so I wanted to come back with another quote about lifestyle leadership. Legendary leader John Maxwell, one of the most prolific writers on leadership, one of the most consistent home run heavy hitters. I don't even know how many books he's written. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if it's over 100. And just he consistently over delivers again and again. And it's because this guy really understands leadership at a very personal and profound level. So no sense in reinventing the wheel. I would much rather just surf on some other big waves than try to make waves on my own. So he says leadership is not about titles, not about positions, not about flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. It really is that simple. And so often we can complicate the idea of leadership. And what happens is we exert energy in the wrong directions. There's another quote from a guy I really appreciate, Sean Cannell. He says, how can people follow you if you are going 15 different directions? And so if we're not clear, we won't pioneer anything. We won't get anything ready for anyone behind us. And that's super sad, because I believe there are so many of you that are in this preparation process And leadership is happening today. Leadership is necessary today. And if you think you're just sitting on a bench waiting to get called in the game, when the truth is you've been in the game and you just didn't realize that you're like, when people would get interrogated and they've got that like wall, that glass wall or whatever, and it looks like a mirror, but really somebody's watching on the other end. Like, we're kind of in that scenario. I'm not trying to weird you out. I'm just saying we think that we're all alone, but really what's happening right now while we are alone, while we are in that unseen space, that personal space, that is the gym, that is the boot camp that is preparing us to show up ready. So much more I could say about that, but really, leadership is a lifestyle. And so a lot of people wonder, how do I grow in this lifestyle leadership? And that's very difficult for many people because their whole paradigm, their whole thinking about leadership is backwards. They thought, if I take these courses, if I learn this software, if I go to that college, then I can walk out with a degree in leadership. And, there's a part of that, but leadership is an identity. It's you. It's just as unique as you are. Your leadership style, your lifestyle should be unique and needed. And if all we're doing is trying to kind of come into some sort of culture or social construct that has already defined what kind of leader they're looking for, then they really don't want a leader. They just want someone to go along with the flow. And real leaders are the people that have been working on their life in such a way before anyone else knows what's going on. They show up ready. And that's different than what we expect. So how do you actually grow your lifestyle leadership when no one is around, when no one's paying attention? I mean, that's when you get ahead. And, I'm very thankful and I talk a lot about Jesus. And so my relationship with Jesus has informed so much of my life. But I just think about his life, his leadership. He is the perfect leader. And, we see his life as a kid. We see his life as an adult. We don't know what he was doing in between. It's not in, the synoptic gospels. But I'm convinced that every day was purposeful. Every day had meaning, had progress. And I think he was working on this lifestyle leadership. And so when he shows up ready. And that's what we can be inspired by. The quote from yesterday said, a great leader is someone who can inspire other people to be the kind of people that they can be. And that's totally different than, hey, I'm this job, I'm this role, I'm this title, I'm this thing. And, you follow me and you'll be like me. You'll do what I do. You'll just kind of fit in this machinery here, this programming here. You're a person, this is your profile. Now do your part. And I think that we've lost the style of leadership. Leadership has style to it, man. There's uniqueness. There's a vibrancy to it. When you have a leader that is distinguished, when you have a leader that is distinctive, when you have a leader that is literally irreplaceable, it's because they have a lifestyle that, is indelible, and it makes a mark on people, on their interactions. Like when you are around a general level leader, you never forget that. I mean, you're taking in everything. You're not just taking in what they say, you're taking in how you feel in that moment with them. And real leaders have that ability, that their lifestyle is making a impact. And I don't think you do that by just being hollow or shallow or propped up by some, job description. I think you do that by having so much value that you have either, quarried or acquired over time. You've been cultivating this rich, valuable lifestyle, and then you just go live it. You go give it away. And that's why we invest so much in our own value. So that way we have more value to give away to others. And a person who has been investing in their inherent value, someone who's been developing and cultivating that, they're never going to be at a loss. Like you'll never, so many people are trying to conserve and preserve their time, their energy, their reputation, their whatever. And if you just learn, like, what if you gave yourself away? There's something worse than giving yourself away to other people. And what I mean is living and leading in service of others, living and leading to serve people, solve problems, living and leading for higher purpose, for, living on mission, so to speak. There's something worse than giving yourself away and it working. It's trying to give someone something you've worked on or received or done, and they don't want it. Like they don't respect you. They don't listen to you. They don't like you. They don't want to be like you. You're like, but I'm the leader, so you have to do what I'm telling you. And they're like, no, I don't want to. Like that is way harsher. And so it shows the importance of lifestyle leadership, that your real ability to influence others comes from your authenticity, comes from the story that you've been living out. And it's such a compelling story that other people want to glean from it and then want to lean in and see where it goes next. So leadership is a lifestyle. Leadership itself becomes your lifestyle. That becomes your trademark. That becomes your signature. That becomes your patent. It's not you trying to become a leader in someone else's image. It's you understanding your own original design. It's you understanding why you are here to pioneer. And then you embracing that. And I heard it said this way: if you knew who you were created to be, you wouldn't want to copy anybody else. Like if you knew who you were created to be, you wouldn't want to be any celebrity. You wouldn't want to be like any other world leader, even a millionaire or a billionaire. You wouldn't want to be like them if you really knew who you were created to be. And so many people are just running around trying to copy and mimic and parrot others instead of just playing their own game. Like, what if you climbed all the way up to the top of the ladder and you realized that you climbed up the wrong ladder? It wasn't even yours. It was on the wrong wall, or you know what I mean? I'm using that as antidote, but leadership is your lifestyle developed in such a way that you can confidently, competently lead yourself, lead others, and then lead through others. And I don't think you get to leading others or leading through others until and unless you have put in the time and made the intention to lead yourself. Leadership is a lifestyle. You know what that implies? It means you can take away the title and I'm still leading. You can take me out of the job. I will still be leading. You can put me all by myself on a mountain and I will still make more of a difference in the world than someone who is on the news, who is on the internet every single day. You can plaster them. You can get a team around them. You can make all kinds of short videos. You can, vlog and market them. And someone in solitude who has really developed lifestyle leadership will have more impact on the world. I promise you. 10 out of 10 will have more impact on the world than the person who is getting all the attention today. Attention and impact are not the same thing. There are a lot of people, and the antithesis of lifestyle leadership is focused on image. They're just propping up this image. They have this image of leadership. They have this image of importance. They have this image of success. They have this image, and that is the challenge, particularly with the online space, online life, the influencers of our day. Like, I think there's actually a really good side to influencing. I think it's really cool when people are willing to lead others out of inspiration, lead others out of transparency, lead others out of authenticity. But the dark side of the influencer culture is that their online life is not real. And they put up this facade and they're faking more happiness, more productivity, more success, more whatever than they really have. And that's part of the game. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have fulfillment, and I want you to make a difference. I say go the distance, make a difference. And the people who do that understand that it's not just about their image. You know, I'm not trying to get my image out there. I'm an image bearer. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I want to go for impact. And I'm impressed and I'm impacted by the people who have such a distinguished lifestyle. They live on another level. They think on another level. They act, interact, and react on another level. And it literally shapes the world one way or another. They didn't even try to get the attention. You know, and I got to warn you guys, if you've been on this journey, you've heard this before. I am a bit of a broken record when it comes to Jesus, because I'm into Jesus. I'm so grateful for Jesus, but he's just the perfect leader. It's like low hanging fruit. You know, I could literally just keep going and going, but he didn't write any books about himself. He didn't take any pictures the world was leaning in to see what he was going to do next. I mean, so many people are so obsessed with trying to get noticed, and it just doesn't have to go that way. In fact, I think the lifestyle of a pioneer is to be so content in your life's work that you are ruthlessly focused on doing the thing that is meaningful instead of trying to be recognized as someone who is, worth paying attention to. Jim Collins, he wrote the book, Good to Great. He said, you need to spend more time being interested, less time trying to be interesting. I love that. Be more interested in other people, because you have no idea who's around you. You have no idea who you know. You have no idea what's in them, what they've accomplished, what they've been through, the suffering that they've experienced, the challenges they've overcome, the adversity they've overcome. I mean, there's so much gold right in front of you in the form of conversations and relationship. And there's a life that's been lived in front of you in the other person that can really give you value, that can really help you level up. But so many people, they get short-circuited because they're just putting way too much attention. It's a blind spot, really. It's a blind spot. They think, okay, my mission is to be heard, to be seen, to be known, to be valued, to be applauded, to be respected, to be feared. You know, it's the other way around. If you would say, if I would listen to someone who's probably lived a few decades more than me, maybe I could get ahead by being a little more humble. Hey, if I would just appreciate somebody else's contribution or insight or input, maybe I could actually build a partnership that could give me a massive shortcut and leverage a relationship, a genuine relationship that's not manufactured or manipulated, but I can really get ahead because I'm willing to do it in, spirit of teamwork, spirit of partnership. So, man, I mean, this is the stuff that keeps me fired up, and I hope you're thinking about some of these things too. So, leadership is a lifestyle. It is an indelible signature that is only made up of the way you think, the way you operate, the way you live, all of it. That's what your job can never give you or take away from you. Now, going through those rounds of preparation is so important. You have to go through apprenticeship. You have to get the skill sets. You have to go through all of those steps and stages. But if we're not careful, which I'll get to in a little bit, we get tunnel vision. And we're so hyper focused on this one job and being successful in this one area that we're actually missing out on all of these other elements and components that make us a whole person. Like, I don't want to be a success if it's only 2D. I want to be significant because I've developed holistically into a real 3D person. I'm not just trying to be some Pinocchio. I want to be a real boy. I want to be like this incarnational expression of excellence that has lived a life that's worth telling, worth sharing, worth giving away. And you don't get that when people are hyper focused on the wrong target. They're just trying to be the leader instead of having a lifestyle that is compelling enough that people want to follow. There's two totally different motives, two totally different MOs. So I'll tell you a story. This is kind of my big idea here. So this is what you were waiting on. If you're saying, okay, where's he going with all this? This is where I was going with all of this. I'll tell you where and how it hit me. But my wife, Sarah Joy, and I went with friends to Florida. We had our summer vacation, and it was a lot of fun. And every vacation kind of has its own adventure. And so this summer we found a river. It was really fun, and you can go canoeing at one part of it, and you can go tubing at another part. And so literally I'm learning how to slow down. I'm learning how my brain is always, and I'm always thinking and processing or praying, or just, I'm always kind of, let's just say what's going on inside is much more active. And so I'm learning how to slow down. And it was such a good experience just to get by the water and just to kind of float down. And for whatever reason, it wasn't as crowded as it usually is, supposedly. And so I'm looking up. I'm kind of like upside down, and I'm looking up, and I notice something about the trees. I'm like, wow, that is kind of cool. I'm seeing a little bit of design in the tree line. I'm seeing multiple levels of growth. I'm seeing so much happening all at once. You kind of look at it and you're just kind of surrounded by, and you're thinking, oh, wow, we're in the jungle-ish area. I don't think it was a real jungle. I mean, I think people had been working at it, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful, kind of tropical environment. And I noticed, oh, wow, there's stuff growing in the water. Like it's the river is rushing over the reeds. There's algae around the rocks. There's, fish and turtles. And we literally saw alligators. Yes, we did. We saw alligators. They were at a distance, which was fine. But we're like, oh, wow, there's an alligator. Yeah, okay. Let's race to see, who gets lunch first. All right. No, I'm joking. But then you'd scan a little bit above that, the water line, and then you see right on the rocks, on the ground, on, floor level, you see shrubs. Maybe you see some foliage. Maybe you see some leaves and some grass that was covering it. And then you go up a little bit more and there's some smaller trees, shorter trees. And then you go up a little bit more and there are trees with branches that are branching out, and maybe some palm trees. And then you go even on top of that and you would see vines growing on top of all those trees, kind of weaving them together. It was amazing. I was just kind of studying and looking. I was saying, man, I think I'm learning something here in the river. I think I'm just seeing something. And so that didn't really mean anything to me in the moment until I started working on this project, trying to get ready for this conversation with you. And that is what grows lifestyle leadership. When you look at lifestyle leadership versus institutional leadership versus just organizational leadership and hierarchical leadership is always top down. The power structure is always top down. The top people are most important, most powerful, most influential, most whatever. And then all the people on the bottom are the the people that are pushing and moving and shaking and making it happen for the people on top. And this is very common in history. This kind of structure is very common. We'll actually get into this more, leadership philosophy stuff zoomed out more in 2 days. On Thursday, we'll be talking about empowering a team culture of lifestyle leadership, which is the most expansive, force multiplying way to build teams ever imagined. Literally ever imagined. It's the most organic, multiplying leadership model that you could find out there. And we'll explain why and what it is and all that. But so suffice to say, until we get there, I'm looking at these trees and I'm noticing this is amazing. There are multiple plants and multiple levels of growth, and yet somehow they're all fitting together. And when you look at lifestyle leadership, homegrown influence, a person that is a real person, a real holistic 3D person, man, they're just thriving in all areas of life. They're thriving in their family. They're thriving personally, privately, professionally, relationally, financially. I mean, every area of their life, they're thriving. They're just blowing it up, and you can add more responsibility on them and it doesn't burn them out. Man, they get stronger, they get better, they get more influential. You can add more people into their social network, and more people like them, and more people respect them, and more people want to do what they're doing, and they're impacted and deeply. I mean, other people, they start crying, when they think about how cool this person is, or nice that person was, or kind, or wise, or strong, or whatever. You're just like, what are they doing? How are they making such an impact on so many different people? Oh yeah. And they're still growing financially, and they're still crushing it at work. And oh yeah, they wanted to start another business. How are they doing that? It's like we can barely keep up with all of the spinning plates of a few. And there are literal companies and organizations and institutions that are cratering. They're shaking because they don't know this. They don't know this way of life. And the only way they know how to do it is to prop up, more systems and structures and things that kind of keep this thing going artificially. But man, if you've got real organic life, it is unstoppable. And you get the right ingredients and you create the right ecosystem, the right culture, then it's a force multiplying reality. And that can be a picture of your lifestyle. That can be a framework for your leadership. And the simple question is, when you take on lifestyle leadership, how are you growing on different levels? How are you growing on different levels? Because that's what it looks like to grow lifestyle leadership. You're not just thinking in this kind of tunnel 2D vision. You're thinking about the whole person. You're thinking integratively. You're thinking about not just categories, but the combinations of all of these beautiful parts that make you who you are. All of your passions, all of your experiences, all of your challenges, your skill sets, your dreams, past, present, future, all of it coming together, synergizing so well, so perfectly. And it's growing naturally, organically. Many times things are happening all around you without your conscious or you trying to make it happen. There's more of you that's happening without you pushing and pulling to make it happen. And if you can just begin to understand and approach your life with this lifestyle leadership, you'll begin to see things scale and grow and multiply on your behalf, because you're working out of original design. You're working out of a lifestyle pattern that is proven and that is producing results again and again and again. And a lot of you might be saying, well, that sounds too good to be true, but it is true. It is possible. And it's a bigger conversation, which we can get into maybe on a future Friday if you're interested. But the simple question, like, ground level, take action today, take massive action today. Ask yourself, am I hyper-focused on success in one narrow view? Or am I investing the time to keep growing on multiple levels? Am I willing to grow slowly if it means I'm developing healthy organic growth in my life, where my life is more like an ecosystem, not just a assembly line? Am I willing to plant ideas, plant values, grow habits, nurture relationships that I don't even know what this is all going to produce in my life. I don't even know how this is going to look later on. I don't necessarily see this big picture, but I'm creating a lifestyle that is authentic, that is genuine, that is meaningful. And if I'm just doing the right things today and I keep doing it day after day, I believe it's going to force multiply into a personal permaculture of fulfillment and significance for other people that they can benefit from as well. And so, just as a mind map or a framework that you can see, there are parts of your life that people don't even know about, but you know about them and they're meaningful to you. The simple things, the little things, the interior things, your thought life or your passion project, or the sentimental values that you've picked up along the way that create texture in the tapestry of your life. And then you've got these bigger, kind of towering priorities and responsibilities that you're establishing and you're growing. And then it's all in the way they go together and work together. And this requires us to approach leadership differently, because when you are in more of a hierarchical, institutional, organizational, bureaucratic, whatever kind of model, more heavy-handed, command and control, you can't handle this kind of nuance. Everything has to be so exact, and it has to be done in a certain form of order that over time loses life altogether. It's artificial. And I feel myself, I naturally go into some of these more bigger topics, bigger ideas. So I need to kind of stick to my slides. But are you growing on different levels? Are you willing to plant and grow and guard and garden multiple areas of your life instead of just looking successful in one narrow area? So the skill that I'm passing on today is the ability to cultivate what I call multifaceted focus. Multifaceted focus. Now, there is a big difference between focus and scatterbrained. We do not want to be scatterbrained. Scatterbrained is synonymous with weakness. It is synonymous with failure. It is synonymous with losing. You're losing track of time, losing track of priorities, losing track of importance, losing track of opportunities. And a multifaceted focus is able to integrate, assimilate multiple levels, multiple fronts, and begin to synthesize in a way a big picture plan. A big picture plan. And when you have a really big, clear, strong why, when your values and your identity is so well integrated that you can literally begin to see it go far and wide in so many wild and wonderful and unexpected ways. And so cultivating this idea of multifaceted focus to see the one thing begin to show up and influence and inform the everything. So it really doesn't matter if you are thinking about the morning routine you want, or the way you want to have a team meeting, or the vacation you're going to take in 2 years, or how you're going to approach and finance your home. All of those, seemingly compartmentalized, unrelated projects and tasks, they actually can be influenced and informed by you, by the way you think, by the way you have been shaped as a person, and your unique lifestyle can begin to design. It becomes a framework for all these other choices you're making. Your philosophy will begin to inform and influence all these other things. And eventually you're making decisions worth repeating. You're being very clear in these formative years of your life. What will I celebrate? What will I not tolerate? What kind of reputation do I want to have? What kind of person am I becoming? And you're creating your own lifestyle. You're creating your own design approach to life. And now you can take these really good, valuable decisions, and you can begin to apply them in a variety of disciplines, a variety of levels. And it's not hard because you've already put in all of that good work up front. And so now you're just kind of overflowing, and you're just riffing off of all that value that's been latent and developed and kind of stored up for later. So I'm talking about decades of decisions that are being cultivated now because you've gotten very clear, very strong in your value system, in your integrity and your intentionality, that now it just shows up in all these other areas. So instead of getting scattered by all these bells and whistles and attractions and distractions, you're actually more focused than ever. And your focus is showing up in personal areas, professional areas, private areas, future areas. Your focus is on fire. You have an unstoppable focus. Your lifestyle is now aligned with your greatest values, your furthest vision, and you're taking off. You literally become an unstoppable force that people remember and that the world has to reckon with later. So I'm really encouraging you to cultivate a multifaceted focus. So that way you can keep learning, you can keep growing, you can keep making choices and changes, and you will never get stuck in this kind of one-track minded thinking. You're not just kind of super strong in one area of life and then all these other areas are suffering or weak. You're thinking about the big picture. You're thinking about the holistic story that you're telling, and it's all coming together. So let me know how this is going for you, because so many times all the good things we know to do can clutter and overwhelm us. We say, well, I need to be thinking about my roles some more. I need to be making goals for them. Oh yeah, I need habits too. I need rhythms too. I need scheduling too. Yeah, I probably need values. Yeah, I know I need to set some milestones at work. And I know that, my team is looking for progress, and yeah, my spouse tells me I need to get more rest, and I want to make more moments for the people I care about, but I can't do all of this. How do I get it done? And that's honestly, that's where we all live. We are all living there. Like, the chronic thing is everyone's trying to figure out work-life balance. And it's so true, because we're all just working on our lives. That's our real job. But I want to encourage you and go back to this idea of a organic permaculture approach to life and leadership. You walk in the forest, you didn't have to make any of that happen. You didn't have to do any of that. The big tree is bringing shade to the bushes, and the bushes are creating covering for the other stuff, and they kind of overlap and they kind of work together, and there's room for new life, and all this stuff's kind of growing and happening at once. And when you see people that are living like full, vibrant lives, and you say, how do you do it? Tell me what you do. And they say, well, it's whatever. And it feels so natural to them. And you're like, how are they making that happen? It's because they've got this permaculture approach to life where they're just growing in so many different areas of life. And that's the fun. That's the core operating system. That's the philosophical priority. Is they're like, well, I just want to thrive. They have a soul that knows how to thrive. And when you get that lifestyle approach right, you can grow personally, you can grow in your finances and your physical goals and your teams. And oh yeah, you want to invest in something, try that out. And you want to do ministry, great, go for that. And you just have this go for it, grow through it attitude that becomes unstoppable. And even when things break and fall over, that actually becomes fertilizer for the next phase of your future. And it's just all kind of making it happen at once. I think about a scripture. It says that some plant, some water, but ultimately God is the one who makes things grow. And if you want to have a life that is thriving, you got to quit pretending, and you got to keep preparing. You got to quit acting like you're somewhere you're not. And you just have to stay focused on your game. You have to keep playing your game. And if you just keep going, keep growing, I promise you, we're going to look back and we're going to see multiple levels of your life. And we're going to say, wow, they kept growing when no one was around, when people weren't paying attention, when they had to step up, when they were called upon, they rose to the occasion because they could fall back on their preparation. And you just see this amazing forest-like effect where there's so much life, so much growth, so much good that is multiplying all around. And you're like, that was inspirational. And people look at the fullness of the kind of life you're living and they say, I got to figure out how to do that too. So that is the big idea for today, cultivating this. Because when you look at all of these, you're like, that's too much. But when you have an integrated approach and you say, no, I'm going to have a multifaceted approach, and I'm going to learn how do I stay focused on growth in multiple areas of my life at the same time. I'm not spinning plates. I'm just going to keep growing. And whatever I am thinking about at the moment, I want to have healthy, life-giving thoughts and processes in that area. So when it's time to be with family, I want to be healthy, life-giving there at home with those relationships. When I'm at my job, I want to think about how do we grow, scale, crush it, How do we branch out? How do we multiply? I'm bringing that growth, abundance mindset with me. I'm taking that into every area of my life. And then after a while, you look back and you're like, wow, I think I planted some really good seeds. I think I guarded the right values. I think I gardened the right relationships. And I look back and I see something that's bigger and better than I could ever imagine. And it just goes to show to everyone else who's wondering how Peter did this or how you did this. And we're going to look and say, we can't take credit for it. We can't take credit for all of this. We just kept going. We kept growing. And over time, putting in the right roles, and then setting the right goals, and then working a while on the right habits, and then figuring out how that could integrate with rhythms, and then doing scheduling, and then reshaping values and pulling in milestones. And it wasn't like we did it all at once, but over time, we were working on just growing more and more. And they began to have these overlapping relationships that created more life, more growth that could be expressed and experienced. So if you want to grow your leadership, do it by gardening your lifestyle. It's not going to be perfect. That's okay. There's a leader that I respect, Craig Rochelle, says people want to follow someone who's always real, not someone who's always right. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to pretend that you're someone you're not. So quit wasting your time pretending and be authentic and be focused and be hardcore about the mission critical aspects of who you are and who you're becoming. And then just keep gardening, just keep growing, and make sure that there's health and make sure that there's life in all these different domains and levels where you're showing up. Guys, if this benefited you, I hope that you would subscribe, that you would share this link, that you would let others know about this extended coaching journey, helping all of us stay focused practically on the future and then figure out how to tactically lead ourselves there day by day. Want to remind you there is a next step waiting on you, a free fail-proof planning guide. It will help you get going, get better with a proven planning process. And just put your name and email in the link below, and you'll join the Future Friends email community. Remember, Future Friday is coming soon, so share your questions and we'll plug you into the conversation. And I really appreciate your time. I know this is an investment. I'm showing up for you. I want you to keep showing up for you too. And what we're going to see as we look back is something better than we could have imagined before. And that's why I'm hopeful. And that's why I'm willing to keep doing this. I'll be back tomorrow talking how do we actually leverage our lifestyle leadership without coming across, cheesy or celebrity-y. How do we keep it authentic? That's tomorrow.
In 1,000 feet, use the right 2 lanes to keep right.